Hello, I'm Diane. Welcome to my channel, Diane in Stitches. This channel all about sewing, my sewing life, what I've made, what I'm going to make, any fabrics bought, patterns used, and hopefully I'll pass on some hints and tips that you may find useful along the way. So this week, nothing I have done that I can show you because the thing that I made was the classic tee, the Love Notions classic tee, which was my entry for this year's Sew Frugal challenge, where you have a free pattern, you use a fabric from your stash, and you make it up in the month of March. And that is revealed on Instagram on the 31st of March. So I'll be revealing it here next week. So if you do follow me on Instagram, you'll see it first anyway. So that's all done. What I'll do in the meantime, I can show you little bits of snippet of sort of the work in progress with regard to the V-necks. It was the very first V-neck neckband I've inserted. I did a V-neck on a dress a couple of years ago, but it was a facing, and that wasn't too stressful. So the neckband has gone in, as far as I can see anyway. No, I'm quite happy with it. So I think it's gone in quite well. So I'll put that little bit of video in now, and then I'll come back a bit later. So I thought I'd just do a quick work in progress on the classic tee, which is my second Sew Frugal 25 entry. So as you can see, I've now got the front and back together. I do normally put a stay tape on the back seam just to stop that stretching out. I've also put some interfacing on the V and done some stay stitching. Got the quarter points marked as I've to match the neckband, and I've also basted around the edge to keep those two edges together whilst I get this V on so that it doesn't slip out of place. I've also, what I do normally is I normally pre-press up the hems the required amount, because it's far easier to do that on the flat than when you've got the side seams sewn up. So I usually do that before sewing the side seams together. So now that I've got that all prepared, my next task is getting the V neck on, and so I'll see how that goes. So the next step was to get the V in place on the front of the t-shirt, and where the front V is, and you've done the stay stitching on the body, you just cut down just before you get to the stitches. Obviously you don't cut through the stitches. What I did was I have been watching Karina lifting pins and needles, her method, and so I basted this on basically just to get rid of the pins, because they can get a little bit in the way. And then I started here, came down, and I'm just on the seam line. You can see the stay stitching is just inside the seam line, and just came down to the point where the stay stitching on the front was, and you have to sort of hand crank a little bit, get all this bulk out of the way, and then leave the needle in, and then rotate, and then stitch down an inch or so on this side. So that's the inside of the V. So on the outside, there isn't a pucker, it's just a crease, so that should press out. But I think that seems to be looking okay. I think that will press out. So now there's just the rest of the neckband to put on, matching up these quarter points, and probably do that on the machine and then overlock it. So that's the V neckband on now, all done. I shall weave in this overlocker edge. So that's the wrong side, obviously. And on the right side, we have nice neat V-neck. So, little sneak peek. What I think I might investigate doing the cover for this back seam, which I've seen would look nice and hides the overlocked edge. Might investigate that, but I'm pretty pleased with that for a first attempt. So I think that's going to be nice. So I hope you found that interesting. As I say, I'm quite pleased with the V-neck. So I'm going on to the next projects, but in the meantime, I actually do have something I can show you, which is an add-on with the leftover fabric from the classic t-shirt. Now I've made knickers in the past and they haven't been too successful. I've made a couple of pairs using slightly thicker fabric, I think, and they didn't turn out too well, and I put bands on them rather than elastic. It's the Waves and Wild Wonder Undies pattern, and I quite like the bands, but I wanted to try elastic, and it didn't turn out too well because I'd used the overlocker to join the seams and the elastic just didn't go on right, so they've got discarded really. And then on one of them, on the bands, the self fabric bands that I used, it missed one bit of it, didn't catch a certain area, so there's a little gap in the seam. So I thought I'd just have another go. It's this bit of leftover fabric. I thought, well, it's not going to make a garment or even part of it. Like, might have done some colour blocking, but I thought I'll make some more knickers, and I had to send for some elastic because I didn't have any in my stash. But these on the Waves and Wild instruction page, it said that it's a bit of a shock sometimes when you make knickers. They can look quite much bigger than the shop bought ones. But what they say is that the shops use a thinner fabric with more elastane in it, and so they can make them look smaller while they still fit you. So with that, I will show you the finished pair. I'll just come back so they don't look too big. But so I just used some of the bit left, and I've got no fabric left over now. With the elastic, it says that you leave seams open and put the elastic on first and then join them. But I thought I've seen some videos where they have used the elastic in the round. So I'm going to do that. With the bands, you do it in the round, but the elastic, you leave seams open and put the legs in first and then with a waistband and then join the final seam up. So I'm going to try it in the round. I've seen the videos on it, and I don't think it's going to be too much difference really. So I got some, they just came yesterday, the elastic, so I haven't had time to do it. So I got some teal coloured fold over elastic, so that you put your edge in there and then that goes on. It's a near enough match. It's not too bad. And then I also got some, I didn't know which one to use, and I thought, well, I might just make a few pairs going forward. So I got some white pico elastic, and also got this lace elastic, which is probably more suitable, I'd say, for around the waistband. So I shall have a go at that and see how that turns out and whether they're wearable or not at the end of the day. So next plans, I was going to make some more trousers, and the pattern I was looking at is just something, excuse me, I've had this pattern some time, and I did actually make a muslin probably last year out of some old sheets, which again, sometimes they work as muslin, sometimes they don't, and I don't think that one did, but it turned out pretty tight. So I'm not sure what size to make, but these were the ones I was going to make. Was the Love Notions legato jeans, and it requires a stretch denim, light to medium weight denim, or that sort of weight of material, and it's supposed to have 2% stretch with lycra in it, and it's supposed to have 2% stretch. Now I ordered some fabric when I made my upland trousers last year out of some fabric from Pound Fabrics, and at the same time I ordered this And that was a lovely, lovely fabric. It was a linen, it's a linen blend fabric. It was 75% linen and 25% cotton. In the navy. And I also ordered this. This is a viscose linen stretch. So it's got a fair bit of stretch to it. I think I worked it out at 20% stretch. But I'm not sure that this is the right fabric for a... I know they're jeans, but I thought I'll make a jeans style, but not in denim. But I think this is a bit floaty for trousers now, looking at it. I washed it when I first got it, and I've just ironed it yesterday because it was a little bit... It's been rolled up in the fabric bin. In actual fact, this is very, very similar to the natural viscose linen that I used for the skirt I've just made. So I'm beginning to think now that this might be more suitable for the skirt rather than trousers, because it is quite a drapey fabric. And the only difference is I compared them. This blue one is 70% viscose, and the natural one that I made the skirt from is 60% viscose. So this has got 10% more viscose than the cream natural. And linen content in this one is 27%, and in the natural it's 37%. So there's more linen in the skirt I've made than this fabric, but there's the same amount of spandex. And it's a similar weight, 227 grams. So I think I might go ahead and make another Easy Does It skirt by Pattern Emporium. And I think, or the other thing I'd thought of with this would be like an overshirt, like an oversized shirt to go over t-shirts or vest tops or something. I don't think it's going to be trousers. But having said that, I did want some trousers again, and I was going to make the itch to stitch upland trousers again, but I think I'd like to have a go at these jeans. Now, I've traced off for the muslin I made a size 10, and they were I couldn't get them on. I've lost a bit of weight and I can't actually get them on, but they're still tight. So I'm going to cut a 12, even though there's stretch. I'm going to be stretching the fabric, because the fabric I'd thought about, I got last year from this little shop in Chesterfield, Economy Fabrics. I bought this denim, sort of dark blue, and it's got a nice stretch to it. So I thought I might have a go. Never made jeans before. Not whether I'll do all the bells and whistles like the little coin pocket. I'll probably have a go at the what do you call it, the waistband loops. So that's a possibility. So that's the Love Notions legato jeans. So that's probably going to be. I'm going to probably give that a go for April. These are my April plans. There's also another challenge actually in April. So April blouse, but I've not seen any information about that at the moment. Nobody seems to have mentioned that. I think that was also run by Rowan and another vlogger. I can't remember the name. So whether I'll be able to take part in that, I don't know. But the other fabric that I got out of my stash was this red denim. And I got this from, it was like when we lived over in Lincolnshire, before we moved here. There's a little little fabric shop in Lincoln, and she organised a sort of a tabletop sale where you could take stuff that you don't want. I took a lot of embroidery and cross-stitch stuff that I'd no longer any use for. and some patterns that I had at the time. And I picked this up from another store lady who was selling stuff. And she told me it was vintage denim. She'd had it years and years and years. But it's very narrow. It's only 36 inches wide. But there's I think I've got 2.5 meters of it. And it's just not too heavyweight, but I suspect at 36 inches wide, it is quite an old. I can't remember how long she said she'd had it now, but she obviously got not going to make it up after that, however long. So I'm not sure what to make with. I fancy something. I did fancy some shorts. I was going to make some sort of more tailored shorts or jeans shorts or something. But I've got this pattern, which is Butterick 5649. Now last year I made this straight skirt in some fabric that I brought back from Cyprus. I'd left over from Cyprus when I bought some fabric there. So I quite like these shorts or this other sort of more A-line skirt, possibly. And I think I've got enough fabric, despite that says 45 inches wide. So I'm going to have to just lay it out and see if I can get anything on there. I'd also thought this skirt might be suitable for the blue fabric, or make up the Easy Does It skirt again, because that's more of a sort of a floaty looking skirt. The other possibility for this red denim is the New Look 6579. This length probably, but without this frill on. But I think I might even have enough for that. The longer one takes 2 1/4 of 45 inches wide. And I've got 2.5 meters, and I have to again just lay it out and see. Because I thought that looks quite nice with the sort of slanted pockets, and it's just probably mid. I think the length is 30 inches, I think. Anyway, so that's another possibility for the red denim. The other thing I thought for the blue viscose mix linen thing would be more floaty trousers. So the other thing, I've made these last year, and I wasn't keen on them because they were a little bit. I went for a size 12, and I should have probably made a 10. The Pattern Emporium Cocoa wide leg pants. So that with elasticated waist, so that would they'd probably make that as well. So it's a toss-up really between a skirt and some sort of, certainly not going to make a tailored trousers, but floaty trousers or the skirt, I think, is probably the way to go for this linen viscose mix, because it is very swishy soft. So that's my plans, I think, for April. I haven't decided yet whether I'll get one of them done or both, or two or three things. I'll just have to see where the mood takes me. I'm going to get this done hopefully for a Friday sews, but it is Thursday today. And the reason for that is I've done it today just to get it done, readiness, because tomorrow I've got something planned in the morning, but it's also my birthday, and we're probably going out for lunch somewhere. It's a bit of a milestone birthday, actually. It's not a 0 on the end, but I will become tomorrow officially a pensioner. Dreadful. So I've got my state pension coming in a few weeks, the first payment coming in a few weeks' time, couple of weeks. Bit of a dread. I mean, at first I thought, it'd be nice to get my pension. I can buy more fabric, but of course it's come now in a year where I'm not buying fabric for the moment. So it'll just go, it'll get stashed away anyway. So with that, I would like to thank everyone that's been watching and liking my videos, and especially thank you again if you've subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed, then I wish you would do so, because it would help the channel and doesn't cost you anything. And if you click the little bell icon, you will get notifications when I release a new video. So I hope you all have a good rest of the week and the weekend, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. So bye for now.